Welcome to the Mike and Matt Show. Hectic day.
Why?
Just get government warnings, alerts on my phone. The internet's out.
It is a madhouse around here.
It's a madhouse. So last week I started off the show with chopsticks. It was because I was joking that it's probably the only uncopyrighted song, and because I always get flagged for copyright.
Sure.
Stuff. And I put the show up on Facebook, and they banned it for chopsticks.
That's why it got banned? Yes, seriously?
Yes.
Do they tell you that's why?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They tell you. They're very specific. They'll say, you said this, or you played this, or this. And
so you used the most generic song to open the show, put it up, and that's why it got taken down?
Banned for chopsticks. And I was just like,
that's so weird.
I mean, the joke was it's the only song I could play because everything in the world is copyrighted, and then it's
chopsticks. So how are we going to go away with this one? What is this, a generic version of Smack My Bitch Up?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a generic version.
So then we get away with
it. Sometimes no.
So weird.
Make sure it's a shitty generic version.
Okay, so meanwhile, if we were just to make our own intro of us just going, we'd be okay, right?
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
I mean, it's going to have to be what it is. Actually, I'll just buy a license for $6,000 and play whatever I want.
The worst was all those music licensing fee places, right? So they go into every bar and restaurant and hit you with licensing fees. And if you're doing concerts, they hit you with that.
Oh, yeah.
And then they want you to post your concert and tell people how many people attended the show, how well it did, right? This magazine called Polestar. Polestar really likes to, it's like the industry information for this kind of stuff. So you put it up and you're sort of like bragging a little bit like, hey, look at how great this show did. Then 6 months down the road, they come back and they go, hey, so we noticed you did a show with 2,500 people and you use music that, you have to pay the publishing now. Like, it's this crazy world. So this was years back, but they're like, why aren't you posting your shows anymore? I'm like, I'm not telling you guys anything.
Yeah.
It's just one big scam for fees. And it never trickles down to the artist.
It's I don't even get it. It's like if you're doing a radio show and you're doing the top 5 songs of the week, all you're doing is exposing your audience to other people's music so they can go purchase it. It's a benefit for the people, but you can't. But I don't do that because I'm not going to play that music because it's copyrighted.
Yeah, because ASCAP is going to come after you.
Makes no sense.
I know it's super weird,
super frustrating.
Now I kind of get the argument with pay-per-view stuff. Like if you're going to get a UFC fight, all right, and you're going to show it in front of 2,000 people, your pay-per-view fee is going to be different to buy that fight than it would be if you're buying it in your residence of 4. That I get.
You get that.
But, I mean, for every song that you play out of the jukebox or whatever, they're going to come and hit you for a monthly licensing fee. And it's been years since I dealt with it, thank God. But it just always stuck in my head of going, what an annoying bullshit thing to have to deal with.
And it's like, you're not playing... You're playing the Leonard Skinner at your pub because people want to hear music. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like after 30 years, you're still going to get money for me playing it for people to listen while they drink a beer.
It's even funny now. If you go into Walmart, I was in Walmart a couple weeks ago, and they actually have Walmart radio, right? So that's nothing new. I mean, there's businesses that have their radio stations. Totally get that.
Oh, they all do that. I mean, not this radio station, but they all are subscribed to a service.
But they have shows on Walmart radio, like morning show. They have like a Walmart radio morning show.
Who is that?
Couldn't tell you.
Maybe we could be the Walmart evening show.
I'm happy to do the Walmart morning drive evenings. Swing shift on the weekends, whatever. Because I mean, the exposure's huge, right? Nobody's giving a damn, but you just hear Walmart radio, and then hey, it's in the morning. But they're literally doing these breaks, and
They're doing lifestyle breaks on the Walmart.
It was a little bit lifestyle-ish, and then they just hot jock into a song. But yeah, Walmart radio, they have actually live. Well, maybe not live personalities, but
Some can't. Yeah, but they're
Something.
people.
They're doing something.
They got DJs.
Yeah, they got DJs.
on Walmart Radio puts on probably more compelling content than every radio station in this Tampa Bay area. I don't know if I can continue with the show. It's like
Walmart Radio.
Walmart Radio. See, I don't even know. I may have heard Walmart Radio, and I'm just completely
Of course you
I'm
have.
completely oblivious to it.
Well, and it's the same playlist that every retail chain has. It's let's think of some songs. Vertical Horizon. You're everything you want. You're everything. Yeah, there's that. Then there's I wish you would step back from that ledge. So you got Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind. The most mainstream cuts.
Yes. Then you go Sheryl Crow. All I want to do is have some fun.
Man, I kind of want to hear this playlist.
And then, I don't know, there's all the basic other ones. But yeah. Walmart Radio.
Walmart Radio.
Good stuff.
Can you hear the tinkling? Did you hear the tinkling?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Is that a turn off for viewers and listeners, or they like the tinkling?
Of ice in a glass, I would think they would appreciate it because they know you're drinking the finest of cocktails made with Svedka vodka and
the finest Russian potatoes.
This no, it's not potato vodka, my friend. No. And this nice orange tangerine spray that you put in artificial color. No, that's not
quite the mixologist, man.
Potato vodka is like Chopin vodka.
I don't know nothing. I don't know what Chopin. I don't know nothing about. I just thought vodka was made from potatoes. I'm not a liquor connoisseur.
Same.
What's Chopin? I don't know what you said. I thought he was a composer.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if I'm saying the brand right. I think it's Chopin. Chopin vodka is like a true potato vodka, which is the way that vodka used to be made and distilled until they found a different way of doing it. Now
how do they do it now? How do they do it now?
I have no clue. I used to know.
It has to be made out of something.
It might be like a corn mash or something.
Corn vodka.
I have no idea. Again, I'm really not sure. I don't know where a lot of the alcohol comes from. Like I couldn't tell you where. I mean, rum is what, sugar cane?
I'm pretty ignorant of that too. Yeah, I think. What's whiskey? It's sour mash. What's the mash?
That's got to be the corn mash, right?
Is that it? Corn mash. I don't. They made it in Kentucky. Is that a big corn state? I don't know. It's made out of bluegrass.
How do you ask the question? God, we sound like children. Where does vodka come from? Okay.
It comes from.
Oh, now it's. Hold on. What was vodka originally? Wow. Now it just says use grains.
They're giving you the runaround.
It just says grains.
Grains.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a grain vodka.
Grain vodka as opposed to potato vodka.
So it's like potato is what you make your vodka out of if you can't get no grain. Like these countries that I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is potato worse? Is it potato vodka?
I know that
made vodka worse.
Potato vodka, I believe, is more expensive. Because there's not a whole lot of companies that do it like that anymore. And so when you see somebody drinking the Chopin or something like that, I guess it's fancier.
What's some of the cheapest vodkas? I'm trying to think.
Oh man, Fris, Fris, and it's got a little thing over the S.
There's a classic one. I can't think of the name of it though. Many times.
Is it Beefeater or is that gin?
That's gin.
Is that decent gin? I
just know the name. I mean, when I was young, when I was in like my 20s, I didn't care about anything other than I need to get the cheapest bottle of alcohol because I'm broke.
Yeah,
so you get the cheapest bottle.
And now, as a grown adult, I don't know if you do the same thing, but if I go to the liquor store, I'm not going top shelf because why would I, right? Like, even if I could go top shelf every time, I'm not going top shelf every time. It just doesn't seem worth it. But
I'm ignorant of it. You could give me top shelf and I'd be going to taste like the last one.
But I also don't want to go on the bottom shelf because then I look like I'm really, really poor.
Perhaps on fentanyl or something.
Yeah, this guy can't even afford like the mid. So I go mid shelf.
Mid shelf. That's reasonable.
Look, it's in my line of sight. It's not the very bottom. It's not. Hence Svedka. $18 bottle.
I go exclusively top shelf because all my alcohol is bought by Len Carr. who sponsors all alcohol on the show.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
You've got an alcohol sponsor.
I've got it. I mean, he's a good alcohol sponsor.
That's terrific.
I mean, he just can't. We can't drink all the alcohol.
That's what I used to do when I was doing the Spices Happy Hour on Radio IO. It was me and my buddies. We were just hanging out, and we're like, "Send us alcohol, and we'll keep doing this." And so we did. We got a bunch of booze, and that's how we do it. And that to me was like a great trade. It was a perfect trade for everything. So Lynn Carr does this for you?
He does.
What does he supply you with?
He's with money to buy alcohol.
Oh,
so we go.
Well, then why do I keep bringing alcohol?
So we go to the store, and and sometimes like we get we don't have highfalutin taste, but it's Lynn Carr's money, so we're gonna go. Hey, I'll take that one there. Yeah, that's a.
What do you typically drink when you go to the store and pick something out? Like, what are you getting?
Like Donna makes a lot of different shots. She likes to make different shots like B52s and liquid marijuana. So that takes a lot of the green
buttery nipples.
The buttery nipples. So you get the blue curacao. You got to get all these mixers. So we get a lot of that. I'm not a big, whiskey or I just drink beer. I get high and drink beer. I find the hangover is pretty light with beer.
I still have the same bottle of Wild Turkey that we had a couple weeks ago in here, and we almost did a shot, and then we just kind of moved on and did not. And it's still in here, the same amount, hasn't been touched. Like, this is just, I'm not it doesn't.
I mean, we could do a shot, but.
Maybe.
I mean, oh, God, there was one time, Donna, she got a liquid marijuana.
Oh, my gosh. Hold on. A liquid. What's in a liquid marijuana shot? I've never heard of it.
It's got 6 ingredients. It's got blue curacao.
Okay.
Green melon.
Okay.
Spiced rum, coconut rum, sweet and sour, and pineapple juice.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
In this.
That's a lot.
It is.
Oh my God. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
So is this thanks to Lynn Carr?
Thank you, Donna.
That's delicious. That's really good.
Oh, thank you for noticing that, babe. Thank you for noticing that. Matt was in the corner.
Oh.
He was just like,
where I belong.
It was like the screen, and you're like, you were. Fortunately, you were in the screen, but just right on the edge.
I'm on the fringe.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was very good. So Lynn Carr, is he a local guy or where's he?
Jersey. Well, the first year we did the show, Lynn Carr was like, I got some alcohol for you guys. I'm stopping by your house. And we're like, all right. And here comes Lynn Carr pulling up. And he drove all the way from Jersey, bought it all in Jersey. And it was his entire car was packed with alcohol and beer and cases of beer. And it was like,
that's hilarious.
Pretty fucking cool.
That's amazing.
We had a picture of it somewhere. Yeah.
That is really cool.
So, yeah, thank you it's the Lynn Carr Bar Show.
Man.
Carr Bar Show, because he sponsors it.
That is awesome. The booze thing, I feel like eventually I got to phase out of the booze thing.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard on you. It's rough on you.
Yeah, and every time, like on my YouTube algorithm, I keep getting hit with these videos of like why you should stop drinking, or why alcohol is ruining like all this stuff. And I'm going, is this thing just throwing hints at me? Like maybe I gotta, chill.
I think when you get I get drunk on occasion, but it's just drunk. It's like, I'm fine. You can communicate with me. I'm just clearing my horses off and maybe walking a little, trying to go feed the horses, a little like this.
Right. But you're on your own property.
I don't get shit faced. Like, when you just, it ruins the next day and you just feel like crap and black. I'm sure everybody's probably been blackout drunk. Even, if you're not a crazy person, you're like, what the hell happened on the last 2 hours of last night?
Yeah, I don't like that feeling.
And I ain't doing that no more.
No.
Just, I did learn to, I fought throwing up after you drink for years. And then when I realized you just got to, once you do it, you feel like $1 million.
How come you don't puke as much as an adult as you do when you're a kid?
That's true. I don't know. Your immune system gets stronger. I don't know.
Something, but yeah, when you're a kid, you feel like you're puking every couple months or something. Something's going on. You're yakking up.
Because you go to school, maybe?
I don't know. And then
sick kids.
After like 25, unless I was blackout drunk or like doing something really dumb, I wasn't puking.
I don't puke. Well, I don't puke much anymore either. Of course, I did like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Except for that.
I did. I was going. I was using the facilities. Going, not number one, and I kept going like, what's going on? I feel like I got to throw up. I just didn't get it. It's like it's a weird feeling. I feel fine, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, I got to throw up. I'm pooping, and I got to stand up, turn around, and puke on my business.
So it was a duel?
Yeah, it was like I was like,
oh my God!
I didn't know what else do you do in that situation.
You got to do what you did.
I guess I could have like gone backwards and then tried to make a basket between my thighs.
So you were snapping off a deuce, then you had to vomit. So you got up off the toilet. Did you wipe your butt yet, or was your
No,
butt?
it was like there comes a time where you're
Was
like,
it diarrhea?
It's coming.
Yes, you got like a small window, and you start to sweat.
I mean, it's like you can't make it to the toilet. You'd be throwing up on the floor. It was right there, so I had to do it. I couldn't let me wipe and then get rid of this stuff that's coming up now.
So you vomited on your deuce.
I did. I feel like a real heroin addict.
Okay. Did you? I mean, in all fairness, I probably would have perhaps admired my handiwork. After it's all said and done, before you flush it, you almost have to like admire the handiwork and say, "Wow, that is a lot of action." All in that little space. Did you admire just tiny?
No, because I was definitely afraid that if I looked at that monstrosity, I would have to puke again. So I was just like, get rid of that, and try to wipe that from your memory.
Man, our toilet came off the chain a couple weeks ago. Like when you flush the toilet and then occasionally that chain
it comes off the chain. It
just comes off the chain. Why they haven't made a better chain, I have no idea.
That thing's from 1956.
It seems like I shouldn't be telling people this invention idea, but seriously, everybody's chain I feel like has come off of their toilet, and everybody does the same thing. It's like, why is the chain? Like, why haven't they created? There's got to be a better mousetrap for this.
You would think. And you hang it. They got to give you like a Christmas ornament hook to hang it on. Like the thing costs like 2 cents.
You gotta go to Lowe's and pick up a new one, and the new one looks the same exact as the old one. And you go home and you gotta, but every time that happens, I know the water in the tank is clean. But there's something about sticking your hand in the toilet. It still doesn't feel clean. Like it doesn't feel like that water should be clean or something.
It's a stigma. You have a bias against that water.
I do.
And I think that water nothing ever touches that water.
Nothing.
Because it comes in and it's on top of everything, and then it replaces that. So it's perfectly fine. We could go and get a glass and have a nice sip.
But for some reason, man, sticking your hand in there is gross, and then having to slink that chain back on is annoying. Housework.
I mean, I can't believe they haven't come up. See, they're too busy on the internet making filters and putting mustaches on people, and not making the new plumbing shit.
It's true. All the plumbing stayed the same. A buddy of mine, speaking of filters, he has a dick app.
Of course he does.
I shouldn't be talking about this. Him and a couple buddies. This was years ago when apps were like new. They just decided to build this app, and you just draw a dick on anything, any picture, and you just go like, let me slap a dick on there. So it's just a simple thing. But to me, it was hilarious. I was like, this is the greatest app ever. Of all the things, that to me is like a fun app. That's something that to this day I would download. If it was...
Did they go belly up on the slap a dick?
I don't think they put a lot into it. And then he got a career and sort of moved on with stuff.
Is it still available?
I think so. I'll have to find the name of it. It's great. Occasionally I'll just be like, hey, send me a picture of this with, and he'll slap it on there.
I want to see an example of slap a dick art.
The best app, though, I think to this day has got to be Shazam. Of all the apps,
yeah,
because when you always wonder who does the song, and Shazam just does it for you, and that didn't exist when I was a kid, and then that happened. I'm like, whoa, this is a game changer. To me, that's the greatest app going.
Because you'd be thinking for hours. You'd even go back to somebody you were listening to. Do you remember what that song was? Because what was the name of that song?
You would have to research.
And good luck. Like I used to try to call the radio station back before I knew, they don't want to. They're not giving you fucking any information. They're not even going to answer the phone.
Or playing your request.
We'll get that right on for you. What is your other recourse?
It was always great being a music jock or seeing other guys be music jocks when people call in the request lines because it's BS.
Yeah,
it's just BS. But you'd save the phone call in the hopes that Papa Roach song was going to be coming up here in the next few hours, and then you edit the call. But meanwhile, that person who actually requested the song. They're long gone, man. Long gone.
They're like, it's been 2 hours and never got my goddamn F you, Matt.
Meanwhile, I'm editing a call for 2 hours from now. I see it on my playlist in the 5 o'clock hour, and I'll edit up and hit the post perfectly. It goes out to Mike. And then boom.
And everybody listening goes, yeah, that guy got that request right on, man.
That was so quick.
Matt, man, he'll do you right.
Oh my God!
It's a huge crock of shit.
Too funny.
Just like Google was the best thing for me about Google was now I could finally find out lyrics.
Agreed.
Oh, it's like, what is that lyric? No, he said that. No, I think it's that. Whatever you want to know, you can look up. I always wanted to know what that guy said in that song. You look it up. That was the best thing for me.
Yes, and I always realized.
I'm a simple man.
No, I'm with you. And then I realized how wrong I've been all these years. In particular, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby Got Back, okay? In one of the lyrics, it says, rump of smooth skin. I always thought it said Rumple stilt skin. I have no idea. And eventually I got called out on it. And, I wasn't even close. I don't even know. She's like, why would it be Rumple stilt skin? I have no idea.
I thought it was Rumple smooth skin.
I think it's rump of smooth skin.
So I always had it wrong too. I was like Rumple smooth skin.
Well, it's better than Rumple stilt skin. Which then I had to Google who the hell Rumple stilt skin was.
And then you're like, what is he into?
Yeah. Now
what is
that Sir Mix-a-Lot is crazy. So then I got down a Rumpelstiltskin rabbit hole.
Rumpelstiltskin.
That's the best with the Google searches because then you just go and you go and you go. Oh, are you Googling it?
I'm looking up. Ooh, Rumple smooth skin.
Is it Rumple?
I don't know. I can't find it. There's so many lyrics. I can't. It's like there's 1,000 lyrics.
He raps fast.
What part of the song was it?
Ooh, rump of smooth skin. You say you want to get in my bench? Whoosh, well, use me.
Ain't your average group,
yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, where the fuck is this shit?
We must know the answer.
Ooh, you're right.
I'm not right.
It's rump o smooth skin.
Oh, he's Irish.
It's got the little apostrophe there and everything. Ooh, rumpo smooth skin.
You say you want to give him but now the question is, and I cannot remember, who is Rumpelstiltskin?
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, he was some.
Was he an Irish lad of some sort?
Little creature or something, and I can't remember now.
Rumpelstiltskin was not getting in his bins.
So he could make gold out of hay or something. He could spin gold out of hay, some bullshit like that.
Oh my God!
See, I've forgotten. That's the debate, but I don't remember why. Like he was tormenting some girl. He was going to rape her if she didn't make enough gold or something.
Good God. Who was St. Patrick's? Did he, Patrick?
He drove the snakes out of Ireland.
But he did exist or he did not exist?
No idea.
I don't know what's real and what's not anymore.
Everything you ever believed in history is 100% completely false. Everything. That's what I finally in the last couple of years till I finally I went, oh, there ain't nothing real. They made all that shit up.
See, I don't know. I do know that Columbus Day was a highly heralded day when I was a kid, and we had it off in school, and everybody celebrated Christopher Columbus. And then all of a sudden, he was a dick, and everybody's like, "Oh, can't celebrate that guy anymore." But it's like, did you guys not know he was a dick 10 years ago? Like, he's been a dick for a while apparently, but they don't tell the kids that.
They whitewashed him big time.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you found out bad stuff about the hero. You just kept it, you're like, well, we don't want to talk about them. It's Columbus. He sailed the ocean blue in 800, when?
Was it 1492?
1492.
He sailed the ocean blue. Was it the Nina Pinta Santa Maria?
Santa Maria, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vikings were really the one. Did they even teach that in history now? That the Vikings were here long before Columbus? Probably.
No, I never heard that in school. I mean, I wasn't paying a lot of attention. But I never heard about. They never taught Viking culture.
They don't talk about it a lot in history. It's a real gloss over. They keep the populace ignorant and just give them a little of the highlights of the best stuff that America did.
Yeah, my daughter's history book was talking about like Thomas Jefferson and how great he was and all this stuff. And I'm going, he could have been great, but with every great guy, there's some sort of dick factor in there, right?
Usually.
Like, you can't be that great and just be that great. You've got to have something.
There's a few of them out there. They're rare.
I mean,
very rare.
Whether it's Einstein or Jefferson, they had to have some weird.
They usually have a dark side.
Like the George Washington, I think he had a real dark side. His teeth were, I don't know, maybe
walrus teeth. He had walrus tusks. Walrus tusks for teeth.
That's what it was. They're made of something.
They had like what was the original wood? Like the wood, ivory. They used everything they can, to try to create teeth back then because they didn't have anything good, and so he had a whole set of them, I think.
Which had to look insane. I mean, seriously. And then the other presidents, I don't remember. There was like
talking about shit. I mean, look at JFK. I mean, he was like a super horn dog. Super duper horn dog. And nobody would, nobody knew it at the time. I mean, the press may have known it, but back then they would cover up for. Well, they cover up for him.
Well, would it be the same way with MLK? I thought MLK was a notorious horn dog also.
I believe he was.
But they whitewashed that one pretty strongly. Because the great deeds outweighed the negative, I suppose, so you just kind of go with it.
Yeah. But when you think about it, okay, if you're a president of the United States and you had that big of an ego that your goal in life was to become the president of the United States, so you got a huge ego, more than likely you're someone who, you're a politician, you're somebody who fools around on their wife. Now, you ain't telling me that, have you heard of any president sleeping around, in the last 50 years? Other than Clinton, with the intern because he got caught. So, and that was in the White House. That's only. I guarantee the CIA's got your back, and you're like, I either need a prostitute, because there's no way that somebody would go 8 years like Bill Clinton with no strange. I'll bet my life on it.
Very true. I would agree with that. I mean, the Lewinsky thing alone. That's
ballsy.
I didn't realize that the Oval Office had this little nook in the back with, they don't even tell you that. Obviously, you're not going to know everything about the White House.
Presidential blowjob chamber. You didn't learn that in American history?
No, they never really taught me about the presidential blowjob chamber.
Yeah, they got.
I'm surprised.
That's, they got to give the president a little alone time.
I'm fascinated with the Bill Gates thing. Now, obviously, Bill Gates, he's not president. He's a private citizen, whatever, right? But the Bill Gates-Epstein connection, I really found strange. And the fact that his wife said sayonara to him, that to me was very telling. And I don't know what happened. Obviously, nobody does, right? There's, Epstein is dead. But it seems a little odd.
I mean, there may have been people who would travel on his jet because, they didn't. It seems like would have been a lot of rumors. If you're like, hey, I'm traveling on Jeff Epstein's jet, he's going to take me, to Paris, that somebody in your circle of superstars, because nobody else flies on Epstein's jets, but rich superstars, they'd be going, well, you better watch that Epstein guy because he's got an island where they screw underage girls.
Okay, but you've been around shady character. Okay.
That's true.
And you've traveled with shady character.
That's
and
true.
You've been a part of shady character's life for a long time.
I think you got me on this.
You didn't have to be shady.
No, I didn't.
Right. So
I didn't know, I didn't know half the stuff that was going on, like stuff you're telling me, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea that was going on.
Right. So there is some sort of, I don't know, plausible deniability there. Because sometimes you just don't want to know. You wouldn't. The stuff I've been telling you, you don't want to know that. Do
I
you?
do now.
Does it freak you out when I tell you?
No, I enjoy it. I'm a big boy. I was just oblivious to it.
I left here last week, and I was like, I probably said too much.
No, I'd like, the only thing it does is make me feel like, how did I not know? I mean, I'm just totally disinterested. I'm the kind of guy that's like, do my work and maybe might chat about something for like 10 or 15 minutes after the show, and I'm like, all right, I'm out. So I never was a part of any of that shit. So nobody told me nothing. Also, I think I was viewed as part.
You weren't supposed to know.
I was like, they would be afraid that I would tell him, which I never would. I would never like betray anybody and go, they say, hey, you know what they were saying about you? I would never do. But I believe it seemed like they would think I would.
Yeah, as long as that's the sign of some of these. I mean, whether it's government agencies or narcissists and sociopaths, you compartmentalize. So you keep people separated.
Yeah.
And you focus. They just have this lane. Don't let them know anything else. Don't let them know what else is going on. But yet you're at the head of the snake, and you're working all the angles and pulling all the strings.
It's bizarre.
Reminds me of Area 51.
It's like, you think she was a master of manipulation, or else, well, nobody wanted to get fired. Everybody knew what was going on, everybody, but they're like, well, yeah.
You got to compartmentalize.
And everybody knows that, the promises are empty promises, but they're just like, hey, man, staying with the gig. We're just trying to stay with the gig.
Weird stuff. So what's going on in your world? It's, I know last week was your birthday. Did you go out and get that little birthday dinner with the wife and all that?
Yeah, we had some wings and beer.
Nice.
Rather low key.
What time did you go to bed? After the wings and beer.
I had a show the next morning, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's all we did. I'm the kind of person, I don't even like people making a big deal out. I don't like presents in my whole life. I don't know if a lot of people are like this. I don't like presents.
Why?
Because I don't want a lot of stuff. There's very few things that I'm passionate about. So when you give me a present, it's usually like, all right, thanks. So you got to do the fake acting job. You got to go, oh, dang.
So thoughtful.
I hate it. I hate the fake acting. Like, the first time my wife did not give me a present on Valentine's Day was one of the best days of my marriage. Because it's like, I'm off the hook now.
Yeah, it's done.
Can we stop this Valentine's Day thing?
Can we stop this charade?
We got Valentine's Day. We got your birthday. We've got our anniversary. We've got Christmas. We've got Mother's Day. And she's like me. She don't want a lot of stuff. I'm like, I'm tapped out after 20 years, babe.
Yeah.
Now it's been 40.
Has there been anybody that's given you a thoughtful gift? Like, I would tell you, the Lynn Carr thing that you were talking about earlier, the gift of booze or whatever.
It's a pretty thoughtful gift.
That to me is thoughtful, like, because it's a good that you're going to consume and use, and it's going to come into play, right?
And it's actually a gift, not just. I mean, he doesn't say, here's the money, now go spend it as you want. He's like, go buy booze, and we're like, that's a cool gift.
Yes,
because it's actually a gift and it's something you.
The gifts that suck are the ones that somebody goes to, Five Below, and they get you some stupid. I don't know. I'm thinking I've seen it with females where they get them a sash and it's like, "Happy birthday, princess," and all this stupid shit. And I'm going, you guys just blew money on that I look at it as just a complete waste. Just complete waste. Like, what was the point of all that?
Donna, are you out there? Yeah. Is Berlin's card up on the counter? It was.
What did she do?
No, I was just gonna show you the example of kind of what we do around here.
Oh, okay. I would imagine it's probably along the lines of what I'm thinking it is. There you go.
Oh.
You can look at it.
It's just happy. I mean, she's 30.
Homemade
she's
card.
29 years old. So she's not like 8. She's 29.
Just says happy birthday.
Says happy birthday, and then she wrote it, happy birthday to the best dad in the world. Thank you for all you do. I'm so lucky to call you my dad. You're going to be TikTok famous real soon. I know it.
You got to frame that. That's hilarious. I just know it. I got a feeling in my bones. I can feel it in my plums. Oh, that's great though.
Let's see, because I
This was thoughtful.
A pooper scooper.
Trace gave me that. I got 6 dogs. Can you imagine?
But a
Can you
pooper scooper,
imagine?
that is a good.
It's a
That
good
is
gift.
actually
It's
a
a good
thoughtful gift.
Thoughtful gift.
I like that. Man, that's
See,
until
See
you
now-
have to clean the pooper scooper.
I see that. That's the only problem with that. That can get gummed up. Really.
Yeah, this is going to be disgusting.
It'd be so gummed up. So gummed up.
I can't. I would laugh if I just saw you going around the yard just picking up shit. Just.
And it weighs 20 pounds because it's caked with dog crap.
Right? Man, picking up dog crap. Oh.
I gave Donna a card like this a few years ago, and I was like, at the end, I was like, this is part of my battle against bid card, because it's ridiculous. Yeah, the cards are like $7 to $10 now.
Yes.
And then it's like $10 for a piece of paper. It's like pretty outrageous. Like, and you got, it's not your words. You just got to, let me find the best thing somebody else said that kind of goes with how I feel about my wife. It's kind of stupid.
I'll give you my exact move. And now we've moved on from cards, right? So we don't do that either. Fortunately, we kind of came to an agreement of like, let's not do that anymore. But when I was doing it, I'm looking for the perfect card, and you try to, the language and the lingo, and try to get everything down. But that said everything that I would want to say. So at the end, I just put, that sums it up.
That sounds.
Love, Matt.
Did you like it, honey? Sure.
Yeah, it didn't go over.
You really did put that thumb.
Oh yeah,
sums it
yeah.
up?
I said that about sums it up, but it did, because I was in the But then it almost became a rib to where every time I would just write that, and then now we skip all the language part. Now it's just love you, But yeah, that about sums it up. That
about sums it up.
That was the second worst move I did. Besides I didn't know you. Besides the push present I got for her. Which I didn't know anything about push presents.
I don't know what a push present is.
Apparently, when a woman has a baby, you get them a gift to thank them for the 9 months of horrendous childbearing that they've had to go through.
That's called being a mom.
You deal with it. I did not do a very good justice there. I ended up getting her a Pandora bracelet, but I was a little schnockered at the time. I was out with my buddy, and I was like, oh, I know what to get her for a push present. So I went to Pandora, and I got her 4 letters, and I put them on a bracelet, and I gave it to her. It was CUNT. She was not thrilled.
It didn't go over good?
It did not go over good. And to this day, she's like, you got me a cunt bracelet for the push present. It was a bold move. I went all in. I feel badly about it now. It was not my brightest moment. Well, I've had a lot.
I guess I owe Donna 3 push presents.
You never, but
that wasn't a thing back then. Like stuff like that.
All these are like made up now.
That's made up internet shit. That's social media stuff. There's all new stuff about like bridesmaids and stuff, and maternity shoots, all this stuff. Nobody had a maternity shoot.
Oh God!
30 years ago, nobody had 20 years ago, nobody had a maternity shoot.
Yeah, and if you're a bridesmaid or if you're a groomsman, like the groomsman, you've got to get the groomsman's presents. And it's all the same stupid shit. It's some flask with their name engraved that sits and gathers dust, and you can't get rid of it because it's got your fucking name on it. So it's not, you can't even take it to Goodwill. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Because they're not good traditions. They're just stupid traditions, like just to look at me kind of traditions. Like for Trace's wedding, he got married here. I performed the ceremony. We set up lawn chairs in the side yard there.
Perfect.
We had an arch with Donna she made all the flowers. So a nice arch with flowers. And then we came on in and we had her uncle had some barbecue that he did, big ass barbecue grill. And then we played flip cup, man. Got wasted. It was like that. It was a fantastic, one of the best weddings I've ever been to.
Right? It's funny how that works. It's not about the scenery. I think all these women, they just take it a bit too far, man.
It's the social media, because did you see Joni's wedding on social media? Well, we got to top that.
And then there's shows on television that compare each other's weddings, and they have 4 girls and they go to each other's weddings, and then they have to rate them of whose wedding was better. And then that causes a whole competition. And then girls are watching this and they're getting these bright ideas. It gets out of control. It's insanity.
And I'm not
Bury yourself in debt to have a wedding.
It's like, so that was Trace's, that's not my responsibility. He's a son, but that's where they wanted to have it, because they knew it'd be good. And when Berlin, when she gets married, I mean,
what's the move? Because you're on the hook for that one.
No, she's either having it here and it's going to be just like the one we did, or she's on her own. I don't feel any obligation to. I've told her whole life that I think weddings are one of the stupidest things, and you should spend all that money on something that can help you in your life with your new husband, instead of just some big look at me, 50,000. Back in the day, that's a down payment on a house.
Right.
50 G's. Why would you blow that on a day that Don and I looked at our wedding album like twice in the last 40 years.
Well, how was your wedding? Did you do a fancy thing?
I was young and naive. It was not fancy at all. It was very low budget, but it was at a church because I didn't know any better. I mean, if I would have done it in my
You did it in the house of God?
Yeah, I would have done it in my dad's backyard, and we had to go talk to the preacher and act like we were all religious or whatever. It was a bunch of bullshit. But it was then we had the reception in the clubhouse of our apartment. And just we got some people potluck kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time. It was
Perfect.
a good time.
It was perfect. To be like my daughter. I mean, she's younger, so I don't have to worry about it for a few years.
Yeah.
But I really need to do what you did and really instill brainwash them into knowing that this wedding thing is ridiculous.
I'm just like, there's not a lot of things, but like there's certain pet peeves I have, and weddings are one of them. It's like, man, don't do destination wedding. Don't even try to invite me to a destination wedding.
However, with that being said, when you get invited to a good wedding and it's got a nice open bar,
that's the only reason.
I mean, it is pretty sweet.
That's why you go. I mean,
that's the only reason you go.
People who throw weddings need to realize that when somebody says going to what, back in the day, it's kind of changed now, but back in the day, I was like, oh, that's when you have an excuse to just get sloshed.
Correct.
You got an open bar, and everybody. You got a bunch of people who are drinking who don't normally drink because it's a wedding, and it's gonna be if you got a good DJ,
everybody's getting
loose.
loose.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
that's why every man goes to a wedding.
So a dry wedding obviously is a non-starter, right? And then there's that in between one where you got sort of the broke ass couple, but they're still trying to do some fancy shit, and they're like, "We've got beer and wine and cheese trays," and you're going,
That's not.
Yeah, that wasn't on the invite. You didn't tell me it was just beer and wine and cheese.
Oh, we need to get these people liquored up.
I want
open bar. I'll take a shot.
Yeah, either do open bar or don't do the wedding at all.
I find it highly offensive. If you do not do an open bar at your wedding, I would be offended. I wouldn't go to your wedding. I would snub you.
Well, you would go, but after you were done going, you'd be like, "What a shitty wedding!" It would be forever the wedding that was
talked about behind their back,
right? Because it had shitty beer and wine.
Man, you imagine you sit through all that rigmarole, and the organ playing and the blah blah blah, and then you're like, all right, well let's go to the reception, and they goes, yeah, it's a cash bar. I'd be like,
oh my god,
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's the worst. Yeah,
weddings. Even like there was an open bar at my reception, but it was only about 40 people. So we bought a bunch of bottles of alcohol and some soda and some ice, free.
So you brought it in?
It's an open bar.
Yeah,
that's good.
Hey, I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you. My son, I don't have any responsibility towards as far as the wedding cost, except for the dinner,
The
right?
dinner,
the dinner
the,
before
the
is kinda
rehearsal dinner.
Rehearsal dinner.
See, I'm not a prick. I would, I'd do the rehearsal dinner.
You'd pony up for
I
the
would
dinner?
pony up for if it was reasonable. Not, if they're we're going to Burns for the no,
Yeah.
I'm not, but I would pony up for that. That's a fine tradition. I would pay, but the wedding's gonna be, going to be
The dinner's going to be nicer than the wedding.
it's good. That wedding was beautiful, out in the open. Trace's wedding it was very nice. It was very nice with the
I
arch
agree.
and everything.
I got married in my backyard, and it was the best decision I had ever made because we were looking at the church and looking at a big wedding, doing the whole thing. And I think I told you this before when we were just chatting. 99% of the people that I would have invited to that wedding, I fucking despise now. Why would I, like going back in the pictures or whatever, I would have felt enraged of the people I would have had to invite or had to include on some bullshit.
I get that. I mean, like the boss man's wedding. I can't even imagine how much that cost.
Nothing.
You got who threw him?
Please. I'm sure he did some sort of payola. I mean, Frank comped the food.
That's true.
So what do you have? You got
Frank, man. He was salt of the earth.
guy
man.
was rad.
That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, that guy.
I think I had Donna's anniversary party there, one of our anniversaries, like 20 or 25, I can't remember which one it was. And I think he, either gave us a great deal or might have just thrown in the food because that's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah, he was just awesome. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in years.
He was a good guy.
There's certain people that are just genuine, I don't know, people, and they don't really have ulterior motives. And then, but again, going back, 99% of the people I would have had on my wedding list, I swear to God, I would, looking back on it, I would have been bent out of shape about having them there.
So you made the right decision.
Oh yeah,
I made the wrong decision last night. I said, Donna, I'm going to check out a little of this Golden Bachelor.
no. Oh no, you watched it?
Yeah, did you watch it?
I did. It was awful.
It was awful.
Terrible. The worst. I lost interest about 45 minutes in. I look. I go. I don't think I can get into this one with this old fucking guy Gary and these old broads with their wrinkly skin and their fucking terrible Botox jobs and their saggy tits that they're trying to push up to the sky and Jimmy Kimmel's fucking ant rolling in there as a gig and a gimmick. It was unbearable.
It was unbearable. And it's like that guy, I mean, I had quit watching it after like 10 or 15 minutes, but all he did was laugh.
Yeah. Lifeless fuck.
And all the gimmicks were stupid. The girl coming on the motorcycle and the one with the walker, and they're all annoying as hell. It's like, it's like all they're doing, just a bunch of. I mean, I'm sure they're all told, how to be, I guess, but you can tell they're a bunch of annoying bitches.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it, and I have an affinity for some older women from time to time. I got no bones about it. I can appreciate an older woman and her looks and all that stuff. But some of these broads, I'm just going, no. Well,
I don't know do you know how old the guy is?
I don't.
So what does he look like? 69, 68, 65? I mean, I couldn't.
Let's go 65, just for.
I think he's a little older than that,
fair,
but he
probably is. But
I think there was one woman that was like 75,
Yep.
and it's like everybody once you get 75, you can still hang on to it in your 60s. But when you start to getting up in your upper 70s, you start looking real old and withered and old, So,
well, think about it this way, right?
That's what I'm going to look like.
Let's say he meets the broad that he wants to live the rest of his days with, okay? And she's 80, let's call her, 79, whatever it is, right? Okay? And they get married. And then 18 months later, she's acting like fucking Joe Biden, right? Think about the decline that Biden had in the last 2 years or 18 months or 12 months, whatever that time frame is, okay? Imagine you meet this broad, she's got it all together, and then within a year and a half, she's declined so far in her faculties that he's got to be like going, oh my God, I made the wrong decision here. I married a Biden. You know, like you don't know what you're going to get.
It's just like, I mean, all these old rich guys, when they marry these young girls, and it's like, don't you realize that guy's like 3 years away from you wiping his ass?
They're not going to do that. They'll be gone in 3 years.
That's true. They take all the money.
That's the difference. But I also think that some women, there are some girls that do like older men because they're more mature. There is a certain, I've noticed it's actually true. Which I always used to think everybody older is, dating younger. It's got to be gold digger, right? You immediately label them. You gold digger. But then you look at the 25-year-old woman, okay? And then you look at the 25-year-old dudes. I couldn't blame a 25-year-old woman for wanting to go with a 40-year-old guy just based on maturity alone.
Maturity.
Yeah, the maturity of a 25-year-old, it ain't there.
It's not.
As a dude, it ain't there. Now
it's like I usually say, it's like until I was 30, I really wasn't making the greatest of decisions because I just didn't get it because I was just a young person. Now like I could do a lot of different decisions looking back. But.
Well, and I look back and I mean I suffered from severe arrested development, like severe because I was, from the age of 18 up or 16 up or whatever it was, I was just, I don't know, I was in this debaucherous sort of thing, right? With the job and all, lifestyle, everything. And it took me a nice smacking across the face to go, dude, you got to figure this out. You got to mature a little bit. Not to say that I'm super mature by any stretch, right? But if I was still on that mentality and that path I was going, a few short years ago, it'd be really bad, because there was nothing to teach you any lessons. You're just floating through.
I mean, you were basically like raised from the age of 19 by the show, yeah. So
it's
amazing that you have a moral compass.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank God I was there to guide you, man.
I always looked up to your moral compass. I did. That's the reality of it. But I also realized that I couldn't hang out with certain people because they just didn't align with me. I knew that too. So I wasn't mature, but I also wasn't
stupid.
Yeah, I wasn't going that road.
And it's not an easy thing to do. Is to like this is a really hard thing to do. Is get up in a room of 10 guys and leave because some strippers came in. It's not an easy, as a man, you're just like, because everybody's going, what's his deal, and naturally all the fans are, you're pussy whipped. It's like, I didn't go to strip clubs when I was single. I'm just not a strip club kind of guy. Yep. And also, everybody in radio got divorced that I knew. Every single person, like, I don't know anybody who didn't get divorced. Maybe you didn't. But I was like, so why would I follow that template? I'm like, I'm staying away from this crap, because I want to stay married. I got 3 kids. I don't want to get divorced. I want to do something stupid.
Well, okay, so let's say, and again, it's all revisionist history. So let's just go back. Let's say that you did want to stay in the studio for strippers.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Let's just say one day. Let's say you had a history of stepping out of the studio. And then one day you go, I'm going to stay in for this one. I think, we would have felt extremely uncomfortable, right? It would have been such a departure from the norm. We're like, why is Mike in here? This is weird. Like, what's going on with his home life? Is he okay?
He's getting a lap dance.
Yeah, like, what happened to Mike? He's completely switched. But what if you did want to stay in there? What would your wife have done? Would she have been upset?
Yeah, she's not cool with, there's plenty of women aren't cool with their husband hanging out with strippers.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't be cool with that. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah, so what's the choice? So even if you did want to, you still would have not, because the repercussions of home would not have been. The juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah. Well, but I always, like, don't you think, like, if I went, hey, Baba, I want to stay here, so just don't say. He would go, oh, yes, absolutely, man.
And then used it against you at a later date.
Oh my God!
Do you know how?
And
many?
he couldn't help himself. He'd be saying stuff like, "Oh, well, boy, certainly glad Mansion isn't in here." Iggy.
Do you know how many Mr. Greens and Mr. Blues and Mr. Reds there were in the studio? I mean, I could tell you, because you weren't in there, but I sure as hell was. And I was like, this guy's in the studio for this? Whoa. It's pretty amazing, again, how some people just, represent differently.
It's amazing how, you don't know anybody unless you like this with them, because look at people like Bill Cosby. He was America's dad, the most wholesome. He doesn't even cuss, and he just rapes women. You don't know nobody unless you really, really know him, especially
Dude, and yeah, I saw a video of Bill Cosby a couple weeks ago. Just something I hadn't seen before. It was some footage back in the day. You've probably seen it, but he's talking about Spanish Fly.
Yeah.
And I was so thrown back by listening to him talk about Spanish Fly, because one, I hadn't heard about Spanish Fly since like an old 2 Live Crew song, from like the early 90s.
That's old school.
That's an old school
Way
thing.
old.
Like, I don't even know what it is. It's just some sort of aphrodisiac. I don't know where it comes from, anything about Spanish Fly. But here's Cosby talking about Spanish Fly. How can you even be Cosby and go from that to this moral dude? Right? Like, it's okay to be immoral. It's fine. Just do you.
I guess it's easy. I guess if you're a liar or just somebody who's capable of acting and putting on an image, and you got that deep darkness inside you.
But
Ted Bundy seemed like a cool guy.
How weird would it have been to be besties with Ted Bundy and not know that's going on? I would be weird to be besties with a serial killer.
I think there was some woman who worked with him at some library, and she, I didn't read the story, but it's like she was telling how it was working with him, and it's like, I think he escaped twice.
Okay.
Yeah, Trace was telling me he saw some documentary, and it was like because he was so likable, he'd be like, I'm going to go use the bathroom in here, guys. And they're like, yeah, don't try to get out the window, Ted.
Oh, that's right. He jumped from like the 3rd story or something like that and took off.
Twice he did it.
It's
he was
hilarious.
so likable. That Ted.
Yeah, there's those serial killers. I've known a couple people in my life that I question them. I don't have enough to like point a finger, right? But you have enough to go, I don't think I want to hang out with that person anymore. I don't like where
it's vibes.
Yeah.
There was a guy on my softball team, and he was like, my brother-in-law knew him from Little League. And so, he played for a couple of years, and, me and Dono, would talk. We'd be like, that guy, I don't know. He's single, and he coaches baseball, and there's something about him. And then we get home one night, we're watching the news, and his picture goes, guy arrested for molesting baseball players.
Oh, no.
We're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, those people.
But there's some people that give off that vibe.
And you never know you really never know who they are.
And some people don't give off a vibe.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can get pretty socially awkward. And sometimes I wonder, I'm like, am I giving off am I the guy who's giving off the vibe? Because I'm not the guy, but like maybe I'm socially awkward to the sense where I'm giving off a vibe. I don't want to be the guy giving off the vibe. I mean, either do you.
I smoke weed. Because it makes me way less socially awkward. I'm not going to walk into buildings after I smoke weed and just, hey, be a chatterbox, man.
Yeah, good time Sally.
For somebody like me, who's, like I was really shy growing up. Was really shy. And then I ended up, being on stage in front of 5,000 people.
Yep.
Yeah, but, going into social situations, it's so much easier to smoke and hey, how's it going? You're ready to converse and laugh and...
I would do that if I wasn't driving. I really would.
Yeah,
I would smoke if I wasn't committed to having to get home safely, kind of thing.
I have no. I don't. I'm not some. I'm not. You know, I smoke, but I don't. Someone who smokes and drives. I'm not really comfortable doing that. I'm distracted driver normally. I need to focus.
Yeah, there was a point in time I ate an edible, and I didn't know. This is a long time ago. I'm on 75. I'm going. We're zipping down, and all of a sudden I don't feel my feet, and I don't know which one's the gas and which one's the brake. And I didn't know. And I'm driving my buddy's car. And I'm going, I have to pull over. I said, I don't even know how to do this. This is not good. And he's laughing. I'm going, I'm not kidding. I don't know which is the gas and which is the brake. So I finally got off the road. Pulled over in
coasted to a stop.
Yes, kind of coasted to a stop. And I switched with him. And it just hit me like that. And that was the last time I was like, okay, you can't play these kind of games. Like, that's not cool,
No. I never did that either. I remember one time, I don't remember why I was there. I think it was I was doing a cluster. I was doing something late at night, which I usually wasn't. Maybe it was when we were doing the show till almost 8 for a period of time. And X-Pac was there, and I'm out in the parking lot, and he's got a joint. He's like, "Hey man, you want to spark it up?" And I'm like, "Oh, we smoke with X-Pac." Oh no! But I was like, no, I gotta drive.
You passed it up.
Oh yeah, and it really bummed me out too. I was like, man, that would have been pretty cool smoking with X-Pac.
He's a great guy. He was hilarious. He came over to my house this was after we had gone out. We were gone, right? There's like 8 of us at my house. It's at a townhouse, right? So him and his girlfriend, and at the time, she will remain nameless. There's no need for me to call out anybody. But it was just a good time. And then all of a sudden, they start doing a wrestling match in my townhouse. We pull the couches off to like the side of the room, and then they just do a full-blown match. Just doing everything, all the moves, everything. It was just crazy. Well, then he accidentally gives her a bump, okay? And she starts bleeding. Bad. And she's just like bleeding all over the place. I'm going, oh my God. So now she turns heel, right? She's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So now she runs up to my bathroom. I'm cleaning her up. She's got blood all over the place. It was a complete accident, right? It was a wrestling deal. And it sobered everybody up very quickly.
That puts a damper on things.
Yeah, it was a real party foul.
Party foul.
But as far as like individuals to hang out with, man, that guy's the best. X-Pac is by far the best.
Making me feel even worse.
You should have totally smoked pot with X-Pac.
I should have smoked pot with X-Pac.
And they didn't have Uber back then, so you couldn't Uber. No. You would have had to call an old school yellow cab.
I hung out to the studio for an hour or so. Live and learn.
Live and learn.
When I first started in radio, I was board opping at FLA, and I was board opping for Lionel, and he's like one night he's going to a bar on West Shore. He's like, come on, Mikey, come with come hang out. And I was like, that's cool, I'm a board op, and I'm hanging out with Lionel, who was the afternoon guy in WFLA, and I was a big fan of Lionel's, and that guy could drink. I was there for like 4 hours with him drinking, him and his girlfriend.
Where were you? Just at the station?
No, Feather Sound.
Okay.
We're at Feather Sounds, and there's a bar over on West Shore.
Okay.
So not very far.
Gotcha.
And so we drive there, and he's drinking these 22-ounce beers for like 4 hours, and I was I'm trying to match him because I'm trying to be cool, hang with Lionel. And then it's 4 hours later, I got to drive home from, all the way to Tampa from West Shore, North Tampa. And I was seeing double.
Oh, no.
But even at that point, I was like driving like 55. Mm-hmm. And I was just, my head was on a swivel. I was just trying not to pass out. And seeing double, it's like, that's the only time I've ever driven like that. I had to get home.
Right? That's the worst part. It's like, well, I got to go home.
But I'm one of the drunkest I've ever been, and I was still somewhat responsible.
That's what you think.
No, I'm not.
What you don't know is you were actually going 85.
I hit and ran 3 people. I did great, honey. So safe.
You could have gotten Phil Campbell. Did not even know it. He honey potted.
Could have.
Oh my God.
Oh man, we've been gabbing. Already been an hour.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's been an hour.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end the stream, and we're gonna do the last segment for the VIP, because the VIPers deserve this, and this show is so good. I mean, people are gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad.
Oh no!
They're
You're gonna get them fired up.
They're gonna be mad, but hey, I have an obligation to my VIP people who support the show.
And then that's when we're really gonna talk about dirty stuff.
And then I can possibly play a song that people know to introduce the show.
Hey man, do whatever you'd like. It's all good to me.
All right, thanks for tuning in. You'll see us tomorrow morning on Cluster F, 8 a.m. And you can also see us on the VIP, clusterfshow.com. All right, see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Dougie Breaks 24, subscribe with Prime. We'll see you.